What's up, DanceFam? We are back again with another episode of The Session, and today we have another special guest with us, Mr. Avi Goldstein.
Woo!
Avi, man, how's it going, dude?
It is going great.
What have you been up to, man?
What have I been up to? I was just in an hour of traffic, but a little less immediate than that. I have been up to, I've had a couple teaching opportunities over the summer. Taught for day one, did a CS class a little while ago.
Helped
out with cool. Yeah, it was cool to be back over in that space, actually. And then I had a class for Capital Funk. They're still doing classes throughout the summer. Actually, them and day one have been pushing out
I've been
a bunch of
that,
material this whole summer. It's really cool. So dance-wise, I've been up with that. Also been pretty involved in Highjackers, which if you don't know, it is a new up-and-coming house crew based here. 6 of us now. We've been throwing
nice.
We've been throwing something called
I didn't know there were that many of you.
Yeah. Well, we added 3. It was originally Tori, Albert, and I, and then
Yeah.
recently we added 3 other people who we were sessioning a lot with.
Good.
And so every Tuesday, I think next week is the last one. We've been throwing some open sessions. We're calling them full house sessions. And basically it's just a strictly house session where we're just playing house music the whole time. And if people want to come cypher, they can do that. If people want to come learn, they can come do that. Basically, we wanted it to be something where anybody who wants to experience house at any sort of like capacity or level, they're open to come and do that. And it's been pretty successful so far.
Man. Where's it at?
It's at Yoga Toka in
DC,
Alexandria.
Right? Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
Alexandria.
no,
Okay.
it's the same place where Lion's Den.
Oh, right.
So we're actually
All right.
we're actually partnering with Lion's Den. Thank you, Lauren, to have that space, which has been
awesome.
super great.
It's like at 10 p.m. also, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Super late.
For
It's
all
like-
night owls and stuff.
Like actual dancers underground time, you know?
Yeah, except it's on the top floor, so it's not really underground.
So
But
under the top floor ground?
Perfect.
under the roof. Yeah, and then other than that, I've just been personally getting back into music.
Ooh.
Some like writing, recording, producing.
Nice.
Kind of a pseudo producer, but I'm learning.
Get that stuff out there, man. Yeah.
What a creative individual you are.
I'm trying my best.
And we're glad to have him here, obviously,
I'm
for
glad to be
obvious
here.
reasons.
Thanks for
'cause
asking.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
are insane in the dance community right now. You're doing big
Yeah.
things. You're helping build this community in our area, in particular in DMV area, especially with like stuff like that. With the house crew, you're teaching classes. You're like in day one. You're in Capital. You're all over the place in this community. So. Props to you, man. We appreciate everything you and your boys and girls do as well.
Wahaha.
Yes, sir.
As always, with me, we have Eser Valencia. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm good. Doing my thing. We had a nice little break, actually.
We did. We were in
Yeah.
Cali. We were in LA for a little bit.
Yeah, we were.
No way.
We didn't dance. Well, I didn't dance. At least.
Did you make money moves?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was
No,
vacation.
No, it was literally just a vacation.
Oh, that's dope.
It
But
was all right, I guess.
yeah.
I was there for an earthquake, but that's another story.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, I was over there.
That's crazy. I've never experienced an earthquake
Yeah.
So
before.
the story is, and I'll just tell you the beginning, and you can imagine the rest.
Okay.
I was on the toilet. I'll just leave it at that. You use your imagination.
wait, like on
on
the
the toilet, mid action, when the earthquake struck.
He was literally caught with his pants down.
Well, I mean,
We're getting off topic.
All right.
It's okay.
But we're just glad Russ is here. He's hosting this show.
I am, as always. Thank you for that. As always, I'm Russ Santos, aka Lock and Robin, as your host, as always. And today we will be talking about "Wreck Time" by Keone Madrid, over at Arena Chengdu, 2019.
Yes, sir.
So I'll get into it later, but I don't know if it has anything to do with the actual arena dance competition. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. We're reviewing this video and then talk about a couple other things, maybe if we get there. So let's jump right into it. Thank you guys for stopping by and listening.
Oh, right there.
Wreck Time by Keone Madrid at Arena Chengdu 2019. So let me start it off again. Well, I said I would start it off later or to get into this later, but let's talk about it now. This is based out of, or this was in China, Chengdu, China. I know they do have a competition there, part of the arena dance competition, but like, I don't know if this video in particular has anything to do with that, because it didn't look like the stage. And if it did, it looked very personal to me.
Right.
this kind of looked like just a video or something that they just put together that they wanted to associate with that event. I'm not sure. Do any of you guys know?
Well, I mean, it looked like it was on a stage, right?
It looked like it was.
It was
was either like in a studio or on a stage. Maybe
Because I know that Kinja's like, I think it was Anthony Lee's choreo to "Hello" by Adele. That was a live performance, but they had the videographer like on stage with them.
Oh, man,
I'm
like
pretty
that,
sure.
dude.
Isn't that what happened? I think.
Yeah, I
didn't watch
think
it.
I remember what
and
you were
then
talking
it
about.
had copyright, so they had to like put it out again, and it was Anthony and Charles singing it. So
Are
it
you
was like
serious?
covered. Yeah, it
Oh,
was pretty funny.
wow.
But anyways, yeah, no, I mean, I think they've done videos before where like the video, they actually have a videographer like with them on stage. So I was assuming that that's what was the case with Keone's, but I don't actually know. I mean, that's a fair point.
It's a great illusion if it was, you know.
So the main thing that leads me to think it's not is during the second part of that. So there were like 3 parts. They used 3 songs. During the second song, it looked like there was a cut there.
To like a main
It was an
camera.
edit.
Yeah.
So it was also a moving camera too. So like unless they had 2 videographers on there,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
they could have like reshot it or
Yeah,
done
that
multiple takes. So.
Probably was not a.
It's not a one-shot thing.
Yeah. Probably was not a live performance then.
That was just my first go-to impression of the video as well. It's like, oh, you know, they have you can see where it was stopped and then they started back up again. It's like, so it definitely was. I honestly think it wasn't a live like recording, you know, in a one-shot take.
Maybe they were just all there and then they just decided to do this. Well, I'm sure they planned it, but like maybe they just wanted to associate it with that event.
Do they play videos at Arena? Maybe they like debuted it
I'm not sure.
there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really don't know about that.
I can call him.
Would you?
And
Yeah.
ask.
We can wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I honestly think it was just by association because that whole cast was there. I guess they were there learning, teaching, because it's also not just a competition series, but as well as like workshops they do as out there. Because like they do the same thing in LA as well, because there's Arena.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of these.
Arena. I think it happened or it is happening this weekend. No, it is happening this weekend over there in LA. So yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, because in the description it says they put it together in like a couple days,
Yeah.
which is also nuts. Like that's crazy.
It's not that hard to believe. So like, well, for me at least, because actually I'll get into it later. But anyway, let's go over these dancers. People who were dancing: Mikey Ruiz, Sam Moore, and then obviously Keone Madrid, and he's the one that choreographed, I think, most of it, if not all of it. I want to say all of it because it has a name in the title. They used 3 songs: Covert, Just Keep Going, and Stop Capping. And that's all I have for it. So the whole theme for this video was a jail recreation time theme. So obviously from the orange get-ups or orange jumpsuits, they're in jail and they're on rec time because they're smoking. And I don't know if they can do that in the cell.
Yeah.
But they could do it in rec time, I guess. Why they wanted to do this video or this theme with these 3 particular songs. The third song I got. The first 2, I just kind of felt like they kind of just put on it because they like the songs. I'm not sure. For me, it was a little bit tough to get behind until I got to that 3rd song.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of theme and songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. For me, I guess like from initial reactions to the video, I think I felt kind of like the opposite way. Because I know that a lot of times, or at least in what Keone and Mari have been putting out recently, especially with things that they've been doing with Beyond Babel, Babel, things of Babel, I don't know. There's a lot of intention or like meaning behind a lot of things,
for sure,
or symbolism.
Yeah, yeah.
And it tends to, I don't know, the sort of character that I felt from the initial song, like the very first song, and the way in which the choreography was, because the choreography I thought in the first piece was a lot more interactive between the 3 dancers than the very last piece. And that it seemed to have like a like there was something, I don't know, I mean, I still don't know what it was. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right.
Because I'm trying to figure out if there is like a deeper meaning behind it and stuff. But it just seemed to me from first impression that there was a little more of that happening in the first piece. And then the third piece was kind of like, oh, yo, this song knocks. Like, let's just do a piece kind of thing. I don't know.
I can see both. Well, I disagree with you on that 3rd song because, the 3rd song spoke out to me more because
I guess it's fitting with the...
because they portrayed like a jailhouse brawl, right? Like
Yeah,
that was the whole.
that's what I
They
caught
had
on.
They had
the
that
whole
right
thing.
beforehand.
Yeah.
But didn't that
during too? Because like I mean, right beforehand they did it a lot, right? Like they kind of acted on that. But then during the song, they kind of had little bits and moments there that kind of looked like stage parts of it, of a fight or whatever.
From my recollection, I mean, wasn't it? The fight was kind of like the transition into the third song.
It was.
The fight was the transition to the third song, but then the third song, like they still kind of interacted that way a little bit.
Okay.
Like there were moments where like they were pushing one guy off of each other.
That's true.
Just kind of like spaced out, not like obviously not like the transition, but like
just to help out with like getting into their spots for that particular part of the set.
Right. But now that you said that about the first song, I agree with you. Like I see what you're saying there.
I think it's almost like the first piece was a little more introspective. Like
Yeah.
it might be a little
Oh no,
more.
that's what I caught on as well.
Yeah, it might be a little more into like how they feel versus how they act.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
And oh man.
That artistry, man.
Before we keep going, I want to just remind everyone that we are actually reviewing a video that is on the internet right now. So if you don't know what we're talking about,
go watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah, check it out.
If you're watching us on YouTube, we'll put it in the description. If you're listening to us in the podcast, it's called Rec Time, REC, by Keone Madrid / Arena Chengdu 2019. But if you just type in Rec Time, Keone Madrid, you'll find it on YouTube.
Probably be the first
Honestly,
one.
I just typed in Keone. It was the first thing that came
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Because it's like this most recent
Yeah.
one. So yeah, that makes sense. For the first song, and how you said it was more introspective, I agree. I think I would have been behind it a little bit more, and this is one of my issues with that particular part. I would have been into it more if they all freestyled, or if they all had a different way of moving.
Yeah.
Like they all kind of moved the same way, in my opinion.
It was very
similar.
similar.
And that might be my biased eyes or whatever, because that's how I feel like a lot of people are dancing nowadays. Kind of like Keone, right? Because him and Mari kind of like are started this whole trend, or started to change the feel of urban dance or whatever. So that might be kind of like my beer goggles kind of going into this piece. But like the way they were freestyling, it just kind of looked more like Keone. Kind of just
Okay.
it looked like three of the same person as it did, more than it did look like three individual people. For me, at least. That being said, I think I would have gotten into it way more if they look like individuals and dancing their own pace, or dancing the way they want to dance. That being said, Keone could have just told them, "Hey, this is how I want you guys to move. This is what I'm kind of going for here," and that could have been it. That's it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think it's always possible to sort of like, impose meaning on anything.
Sure.
But I mean, like if
sure.
you want to take that point and try to maybe pull a counter, like something counter to what you were saying. I mean, if we're thinking about, what we think of as inmates or people who are in prison or whatever, I mean, it's very easy to characterize them all as like the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
From the outside looking in.
they're all just people.
Yeah,
They're all just people in
absolutely.
the same uniform. They did something bad. Like
Maybe that's a deeper meaning.
maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But again, I think you can always extract something. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's what was intended, but that's the cool thing about art.
Yeah, it's up to anyone's
right.
interpretation. There could be multiple interpretations. There usually is multiple interpretations, and good artists usually let people decide what that is. I feel like, at least. I mean, obviously there are artists who have a one particular thing that they want to go for, but I feel like artists tend to be open to other people's thoughts about their work of art. Obviously, if that weren't the case, I feel like they want to put it out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, from a choreography perspective, I really like the first part. Like I think Keone and Mari, since like day one, have focused a lot on the different pictures you can create with like multiple bodies, not just one. So I always sort of admire like the different directions that they take in each piece that they make, whether it's them together or obviously in this case them separately. So it was cool watching it the first time, not knowing how to expect like them to interact and to see the different. It was like, whoa, that was like the thing where they had like their arms like this over each other or something. I like, and like the way that it went and went and went. Thought that was nice. What was up with that light?
I don't know.
Oh, the dangling light in the middle of the
and then he
stage.
just
I mean, I
threw
think
it. Like that was cool, but like
it was
why?
it was a good effect. I honestly thought, because like it actually makes you think like, oh, this is just our space, like we don't need like all this, like, I don't know, just maybe a way of the dancers to break through or somehow break that mindset of the audience, like thinking like, oh, this is just a one space area. So I guess they just initiated
definitely added depth to it.
There's something about it, but
because otherwise it would have been just a table.
Yeah,
and chairs.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
because it definitely made you feel like a little bit that you are in their space at that setting that he wanted to set. Rather than like, oh, they use the stage or whatever the studio lights that they're using, and it's like, oh, we have to use a further imagination, like, oh, it's a table with 3 guys in jumpsuits, rather than, oh, we are actually in a prison cell or prison like
Grounds.
building, prison grounds.
So now that you mentioned that light, it kind of makes me think of an interrogation room more than it does like a jail cell. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Or
especially with a table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
because usually when you think of like outside for like, you think of them having like
Like weights or
bleachers,
whatever.
Right,
like,
right.
Or, yeah, the weight racks and stuff.
Because every type of jail or prison would have different facilities for their rec time. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, speaking of the table though, when they did that, it was very early on where they did some like, like stuff, and then
Yeah.
they just went.
yeah, it was like a lean.
table lean.
The
Yeah, I
table
thought that
lean.
was
The table, that was
Yeah.
awesome. Like
I
that
liked
little
that,
moment
too.
there, and it was like, whoa, they're gonna just like play around with the table.
Right.
But that was kind of the last thing they did to sort of like move the table itself.
Yeah, that
I
was it.
understand a table's like big and stuff, but like,
I saw it had wheels, so I was like, oh,
Right, I
maybe
was
they're
like,
going to
maybe they're
move
gonna
around.
move it.
Yeah.
I thought so too, but it's like, oh, it's just that one time they did it, and it was like, oh, it's a little upsetting.
yeah. But then I'm like, they did it in like 2 days. So
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
because like I've been a part. I mean, given I'm nowhere near the caliber of dancers that they are, but like I've done projects before where all we had was like 2 days to put it together.
Yeah.
And it does not look like that at all. Nor does it look. And like, I don't know, sometimes I think you can watch dancers, you can sort of get a sense on like how they feel doing it and how comfortable. We didn't feel like that either.
At that point, it feels like work.
Yeah,
hard.
you know.
At that
for
feel,
sure.
it's just work.
So, I mean, mad props regardless.
Speaking of props, while we're staying on the topic of props,
great transition.
Eser, let me ask you. So, I don't know. I'm sure you noticed, but right in the beginning, they took a big puff of smoke, right? And throughout that set, they were smoking.
They were
So, like,
smoking.
So, like, all right. Okay, no, you look like you want to talk.
Okay, yeah,
Avi.
so
Go ahead,
What
Avi.
do you
this
think?
is,
Go ahead.
okay, this is staying with the cigarettes. Okay. Didn't they like the cigarettes like they threw them?
They just threw
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
or
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
But then at the end they had them. Did they just have another cigarette like in their pocket?
See, that makes you think it's like multiple takes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, now that I think about it, obviously there was that camera cut there.
Yeah.
But like when I was first watching it, or even the second time watching it, I sort of like just let that go past me. I didn't think about it that much.
Sure.
Whoops. And so I was like, what? They threw the cigarettes. How'd they get them back? What? Like, so yeah, maybe it's
Multiple.
because they did multiple takes or something, but that kind of blew my mind. The first time I saw it, I was like, how'd they do that? But also like dancing with the cigarette in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Also, they weren't real. Were they? Were they real?
Well, they were smoking in the beginning. Like us, you
Well,
saw
I mean-
puffs of smoke.
Well, I mean, but
mean,
like I did theater when I was younger, and like we would have. Fake
yeah, I was
cigarettes
gonna
that, like,
get into
you
that
could
as
have
well.
fakes. Like all you had to do was like blow on it, and
Yeah.
it would like push out like fake smoke.
That's
Yeah,
so
there's
maybe-
definitely those
maybe it's
props.
that.
Maybe it is a prop cigarette.
So
if
they,
not-
they have to go find them when they go through. When they
Probably,
they're like on the floor.
maybe they had multiple ones just stashed away in their
this yours?
jumpsuits. But I don't know, that you bring up something very good, because I didn't really think about that when it came to like, oh, the cuts there. It's like, did they just like pick it back up and just reuse it, or did they have it stashed away in their pockets and like still let it go? Let the videographers like, no, we're gonna use new ones. We don't want you using these dirty ones anymore, or something.
It's very small, but it's something we noticed.
Yeah, I know. But it's
Smoking.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely added to like the character. Cause,
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it sure
sure.
did.
Because anybody who like is smoking a cigarette, they either have something like really suave or like really tough about them.
That's true.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
It was,
I agree.
it was just a nice little
true.
addition to it. And then I don't know, and especially just in terms of getting into, I guess, like a different character, like something about having a cigarette in your mouth while you're doing stuff.
Exactly.
Just I don't know. It gives a totally different aura.
And I think it's tougher too, more tough because if they're holding the cigarette in their mouth for a good part of that set, I mean that takes a lot of muscle to hold it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like you're not even using your facials either.
I mean, like, and breathing.
right.
Because, like, a lot of times when you're dancing, like, you're
Yeah.
exhaling.
Right, exactly.
I just blew into the mic, sorry. You're, like, inhaling through your, like, nose out through there to, like, help keep your blood flow and everything. So if you have that cigarette in your mouth, it's, like, a little harder to do that and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so props to them.
Yeah.
Props.
Props.
But anyway, let's move on. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I was just gonna finish off saying, like, yeah, when you're in the mindset of putting a character on you, you know, like clothes, props, they do the thing, you know, like even when we're like locking or housing, you know, or just any type of street style, you get into like a different outfit just to fit that persona. So it's very effective. Like you just have this sudden change of you when you get on stage or get into that dance studio, and you know it creates such a great effect.
Yeah, and it's really crazy, like as dancers, like you said, with locking and stuff, but like in any dance scenario, when you wear something different,
Yeah,
You just feel different.
you just it's and even though you're still it's totally like aids to like lending yourself to a totally different character.
Yeah. If I was wearing an orange jumpsuit, I would feel a different way.
Yeah.
Like, when dancing, especially if the theme is obviously being in jail. That would put me in the mood to feel angry, I guess. Well, you know, to be in a tough situation.
Yeah.
At least. All right, moving on. What did you guys think? So this first part, the first song, like Avi said, it was more kind of an introspective kind of feel. There was a lot more freestyle, I thought, too, than the rest of it.
Right.
What do you guys think of the second song? They got into more choreography, obviously, but what did you guys think? Eser, what did you think, man?
Second song, I felt like it was just a straightforward kind of like bridge to the end, you know. I don't know. I felt like, I mean, obviously just thinking that they did put it in a few days, and I think they could have done more with it, because I thought like it was a very simplistic blocking, you know, like it's just a 3-man team, and then you just see them rotating, and it's like in a very Keone kind of way,
Right.
Keone style, like, you know, he has his guys either going in a line, circling around.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with 3 people.
It's tough, but that's a great challenge about it. But at the same time, you know, it's intimate. I don't mind the intimateness of those 3-man teams, or maybe even 5, you know, of a squad of ladies or guys just doing that performance. But me, I think it was just like, you know, just straight up exhibition for that second part, rather than like, oh, it's prison.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, for me, I kind of forgot a lot of the second part.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
Like I'm trying to remember more things about it now, and it's nothing's really
coming back.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm even just trying to remember like how the song went, and I'm not really getting it, because I know the first track was Smino, and then the last one was Blueface.
Yep.
But the second one I forget. But I mean, I remember it being impressive. I do remember that.
It was impressive because, again, like that's when they first got into this, when they started to get into like the heavy choreo.
Yeah.
And it just came out of nowhere, especially when it was kind of a slower paced first song, right?
Yep.
So then they get into this, and you're just really hyped with it, and then for me, it kind of just drags on after that, or it just kind of tapers off.
Yeah, I mean, speaking separately, like, but to that point, again, this was obviously like more of like an exhibition thing, but like when you have competition themes to do, like there's always that challenging part of the set that I've seen happen pretty often in different like competition theme sets, where it starts to break a little too far away from like what you're trying to go for, or like for it to be understood that it's part of that within reason,
like an extra piece, right?
Yeah, and those are that I think is one of like the biggest challenges, especially when you're creating your own things and you're in your own world of like, oh yeah, this all makes sense, and da 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 da. It's like there are those things where it's like, yeah, that works, but like that really just means that it kind of doesn't.
Right.
So I don't know, just like separately but related, like I think that's one of the big challenges of like of choreo sets is like, you know, depending on what your theme is, like having the impressiveness of your choreography also meld well with like your set and things like that. There have been like many sets where, you know, it's like theme heavy, drift,
Right.
theme heavy,
Yeah.
theme heavy kind of thing. So
It just kind of gets lost in the mix, like we're talking about now. We don't remember that piece in particular.
right.
100% agree with you, man.
Really had to pull that out of my brain. I was like, okay, second piece, second piece.
Yeah, all I wrote was, well, there's more choreo here. Musicality is on point, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's Keone.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
no doubt.
I mean, if I don't know if we're planning on talking about this later, anyways, but I do want to talk about like the Keone choreo and like like that whole style of like Keone and Mari and like a lot of Cookie stuff, honestly, too. Like how that's evolved, maybe why it's evolved the way it is, and its influence and everything. So.
We've had this conversation multiple times.
I was thinking about it on the ride over, and I haven't ever really talked about it that much.
Yeah,
so.
we can talk about it. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like, and I said there was a video cut there. And that was it. I was like, great.
It's like,
That was where
there it is.
Yeah, during the second song.
Cuts to hard center.
So moving on to the third song, we're back onto the theme now. Like they start off with the broad of a transition, like the fight transition, and then during that whole set or during that whole song, they kind of allude to it in different ways and in different forms of interaction there. So you might want to watch it again, just see what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm wrong and maybe you're right. I don't know. But just check it out.
No,
But anyway,
I should do that.
Anyway, what'd you guys think of that third song? For me, I liked it more than the second song because it offered me a little bit more, especially because it has to do with the theme. So yeah, in that sense, it offered me a little bit more in terms of creativity. You know, when you offer me more, or when there's more to it other than just choreo and musicality, then that just, I don't know, it just for me it resonates more in my head.
So for you, what was the more to it specifically?
What do you mean?
So you said like it was more like there was more to it than just choreography and musicality for that.
'Cause,
Was it mostly like the allusion to like brawls and
Well,
sort of the nature of ragtime?
and the way they were able to kind of get that point across. So that, I mean, that whole thing, because like if you look at the second song, we can't remember because they were just dancing, right? Just doing what they're doing.
Right.
Good musicality, good choreo, obviously, because it's Keone. But other than that, like I can't enjoy it more so than just watching it. When for the second song or for the third song now, when they kind of when they add those points of allusion to fighting, like they make me. I was actually really impressed with how they were able to kind of incorporate it within choreography because it's tough. It's tough. Saying like if you're doing like a drunk medley, right? It's hard to incorporate being drunk into choreo, but the way you kind of visualize it or put it in dance to help other people visualize it, I don't know. It takes a lot. And
Gotcha.
And for me, seeing that in this third piece or this third song, just made me remember it more. Obviously because I'm talking about it a lot, and it just resonated with me a lot more. So that's about it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, for sure.
Cool.
Oh, I mean, I guess a couple things. So one, this could either just me being unnecessarily picky or just needing to go back and watch it again. But it seemed like the fighting that they had going into the piece had like a little more of like an authentic nature about it than like the fighting that was like within the piece. And the song like has a bop and the song has like a faster pace, but I think it could have, I think the overall, like if that was the theme of it or the message of it was like just sort of the brutish hard nature of like what it's like to be in rec time, especially when it gets to the more aggressive side of people, like having a little more time to like see that unfold a little more, because it was kind of like dancing, punch, dancing, dance. Like it felt like a little like I mean, obviously choreographed,
fair enough,
sure, but like in a way that I guess, and this I think I need to watch it again a little more with the eye for that, I guess. And then when I was first watching it, you know, especially with the song like that's this, you know, West Coast hip hop, like thumping song that you know, if it's any like if you see it in like a class footage, you're just gonna be like, ooh yeah, hey, ooh that's dope, yes, ooh that. But like when it was in the context of this entire thing where the setting seems to be a little more somber, and they're talking about something that's a little more serious, and the song is definitely has a lot of reference to like doing like criminal activity
Yeah.
and things like that. When I first saw it, and especially with how the choreo is going, like, because the choreo is really good, I'm just like, I don't know how to like react right now. Like, I don't know if I should be like, ooh, or if I should be like, whoa, like what, like.
I was more towards
like,
that second one.
It's a huge pool of just emotion and just like bewilderment when you're watching this thing. It's like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah.
But
literally.
It's an odd juxtaposition because like if you were just to hear the song on its own,
Yes,
like
of
without
course.
the context of being in that set, that's the kind of thing that you just like lose your mind to. You don't like you don't pay attention to it at all. Really, like you just take it more as like a party thing to do.
Yeah.
But then in the context of this,
It changes.
It's an odd juxtaposition.
It's
there.
such a
when
huge
you add the
change.
visual, everything changes.
Because also if you think about it, like the theme of that song, like it's making it sound like, you know, these criminal things are like gaudy and like, you know, I don't know,
kind of putting it like on a pedestal, right?
yeah,
And
putting it
then,
on a pedestal. But like when you have like the actual thing and like people who
oh,
are
no.
like paying consequences, for
Yeah,
things that they did,
I
like,
know.
it's really heavy shit. Like
Kinda,
it's really
yeah.
heavy crap. It's a lot.
There you go.
There you go.
So close.
So close.
I apologize.
Going back to the transition during the fight, for me, actually, I didn't like the fight transition because it kind of seemed too comical. It kind of like Three Stooges fighting.
Do you
know
think
what I
that
mean?
was because of the actual like how they threw the punch, or like was it more so in the performance of it?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Because like the way they staged, it was like person. Person on the left threw a hook over.
And then the guy
The middle ducked down and then hit the other guy over there. It's like whoop, 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 you know, that
is
kind
very
of thing.
Stooges, yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, that's just it.
I get it. Yeah, I saw that happening. I just didn't think too much. I was like, okay, this is where they're like, oh, it's an outside or just like the usual like brawl that happens at rec time. You know, somebody
The huge.
somebody just usually wants to get in a fight if you're on a rec time. I don't know if that actually happens, but I feel like it does. But you know,
At least the movies say it does.
yeah, at least the movies do. But it did create the setup for the finale, I'll say, for the rest of this medley. But there was definitely one part I felt like that was just taking a little more time than expected. I put like I noted on a time. So for those who did watch or who do want to watch this, around like 3 minutes and 38 seconds.
3 minutes and 38 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The setup there was taking too long for him to be lifted up and like he jumps or something. And then like they get back into the dancing. It's like,
Oh wait.
Oh, I know
that
what
was,
you're talking about.
that was kind of
Wait,
awkward
wait.
for me.
They were
Was
carrying
that-
Keone.
Yeah, they were carrying Keone.
Because they also did another one where they lifted Sam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw that one.
That one felt really natural and raw.
That one was fine.
That one was really
I
cool.
like that one.
But
the one
the-
with Keone, I didn't like.
The one with Keone,
He was
I
just,
don't
like,
know.
up and
Yeah,
then down.
It was
Like-
like one. It was like one knee.
yeah.
The other knee.
Yeah.
He hooked one leg and was like, okay, are we secure? Then we have to get the other leg up. Oh, there. That's what happened.
The brawl.
The brawl.
But I thought the other thing that was, I think part of the reason why I thought that the fight seemed more manifested in the transition than in the piece was because at the end of that transition, it almost seems like Keone's like pushing them away, like, stop this fighting.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah,
dance.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It didn't.
So for me, it almost seemed like there was like this forced resolution of it. That might be
Yeah.
thinking into it like too much.
No,
I don't know.
that's fine.
But
I can
It
see
all-
I can see where you're coming from.
it feels weird like critiquing because I'm like, they're so good.
No,
You're
I
not
feel
you're
you.
not wrong
Everyone
about
is
that.
entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah,
Okay,
no. I
No.
see where you're
Yeah.
coming from. So that being said, like, or even though I kind of gave this third song a little bit more praise than the rest, I did feel like there were a lot of repeated rhythms within this one song that they used. Obviously, because I mean, it has the same rhythm over and over again.
Well,
right?
yeah, it's kind of hard to dance to Blueface's flow.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
I
when
agree.
he
absolutely.
flows off beat,
I
yeah, that's
know.
for sure.
It's crazy.
But like, just like the whole, and for me, it just, I don't know. I hate it. I don't really hate it, but like, it's one of my pet peeves. When there's in a particular piece, there is when a group does the same rhythm over and over again. You know, if it's like that, ba da da da, ba da da da, and they just keep doing that.
Throughout the
I know what they're
entire
gonna do here. I know, da da da, whatever.
And it's not one song, it's literally 3 different songs with the same cadences.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just talking about in this one song though.
Oh, okay.
The other ones, well, the first one's hard because they were freestyling mostly, and they were doing a lot of interaction. The second one, I don't remember. So, but yeah, with the third song, that just stuck out to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
talk about.
Well,
go
just
ahead.
a personal question for you then.
Sure.
So let's say people are dancing to the same like rhythm over and over again. but the movement that they're actually doing is like widely varied. Like they're hitting the same rhythms fairly repetitively, but like the manner in which they like, it's not just a kickball change. It's like interesting pictures. Like
I'm more
really impressive to the
I'm
floor,
more okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. But when it's all
trying to find your line.
Yeah, when it's all, just in one level and in one area, then they can do any kind of a wide variation of things there that they want to do. But if they're hitting that same rhythm, it's going to look the same. They need to change something else up. If they need to extend outwards more, dance bigger, maybe get to the floor a little bit, whatever. Like they can hit the rhythm all they want at the same time. But
can I ask another personal question?
as many as you want.
So let's say this. Okay. So in the case of the song that they were dancing to, they may have done a lot of the same rhythms, but I mean the instrumental track on that was also likewise very repetitive from what I remember, and there wasn't like a whole lot going on. Like you had your bass, your claps, and your hi hats.
Yep.
It's like
it's tough.
It's West Coast, so you have some pianos and like some like fat like bass. So those are like the elements that you have there, and like the patterns that they're used in repeat fairly often.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
You forgot what you're gonna ask.
No! I spent too long prepping to the point. I hate it when that, and I felt it leave like midway through.
It's somewhere up there.
It's out in the ether. Oh man.
That being said. Wait, what was I gonna say?
No.
What were you talking about?
This is the worst because we were talking about the rhythms and stuff, and then that's where I was gonna go. Okay, so sometimes dancers, when it's like a very repetitive rhythm, or if there's like the same thing happening, sometimes they'll create pseudo beats where like
they fill in everything else, right?
Yeah, or like they might do a movement on a rhythm that's not necessarily there.
Yeah,
or it might be like a rest.
That's
so
good.
I guess like technically
I like
there.
that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting too. I think sometimes I've definitely had my fair share of attempts at that, and sometimes it like doesn't read or doesn't work out that well.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Some people have like pretty strong opinions as to whether they like them or not.
I like it because it's kind of like improvising over, say like there's a jazz group, a jazz combo, right? And then you see them on the street and you want to improvise with them, or like you want to jam with them. You don't necessarily know what you want to do, but you know how to kind of fill in those beats.
Sure.
So I feel like dancing is just another kind of a instrument to the music.
Yeah, it's just I think where it can get lost sometimes, depending on how it's done, is that like when you have a musical instrument, you're like making a sound.
Yeah.
But then it's like you have to do this extra connection of like seeing where like when the motion happens and then associating that.
It's not
with
for everyone, obviously.
No, it's not.
It's not for everyone, but personally, I like it.
Okay, cool. Just wondering.
And again, this is all personal. Like, these are all just my opinions. Like, beat kill all you want and hit the same rhythms all you want.
Dude, Eser probably disagrees with you on like everything.
I think he does.
Not necessarily.
I was kidding.
And I didn't think he did. All right, let's talk about this overall.
Like it all.
Overall.
Yeah.
Overall, the very beginning, we're talking about like the songs.
Sure.
That like audio of this, I think it's like a woman speaking or something. Is that part of the Smino track, or is
I think it is.
Okay.
I think so too.
Okay, because I don't know if I've ever listened to that particular Smino song, or if I just haven't listened to it in a long time. But I wasn't sure whether that was something that they intentionally inserted as like a separate audio clip.
I want to say it's part of the song.
Okay, got it.
But hey, Keone does some magic with that music editing, man. You never know.
So let's talk about everything overall. For me, I wrote. Well, okay, here's what I said. First song dragged for me because they all move similarly, and I said this earlier just because I felt like they were all kind of dancing the same way, but I don't want to repeat myself there. I kind of, even though I liked the third song a lot, I kind of got tired by then because because it's just more Keone, I guess you could say, in his style of dance. It's kind of like being the victim of his own, what do you call it? When you do good. Accomplishments. So he's got
What does it start with?
I was like, all right.
It's like being the victim of his own accomplishments there. Like he's, for me, I don't know. I might be kind of spoiled with that, I guess you could say. I think we're all kind of spoiled with the amount of dancing that's out there now that we just start to see almost everything, and we want new, right? Well, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's funny. There's so much out now. I watch much less.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly
very strange.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. I thought that maybe it could have been a little bit more dynamic if perhaps they added 2 more people and gave it a 5-man group. But that's it. That's about it. Oh, no, we'll get to this later.
Okay.
Anything else?
For me, yeah, I'll agree to that. Like if they added, 5 is a good max for this kind of set. I think it would have been a lot better to see just different, type of movement as well. Because not saying it's all wrong to be moving similarly, but it was just too close of a similarity.
Sure.
Like I like distinguishing factors when you're seeing like individuals dance on stage. Everybody offers something different, because you don't want to be the same person that's actually made the set, or something. But yeah, I'm always very appreciative of Keone's intricate choreography. Like he really paints that picture for you, even though like you just may catch it for a quick second, like where he places some movement sometimes, like and you match it up with the song, it's just like, wow, I never would have caught that with my movement. Or like he just knows, he just sees things that we don't. Like it's just a very different kind of eye that he has. And of course ear, he has a very good ear, especially. And
2 of them, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa, no way.
A good 2 ears.
Yeah. Some people have 1. This guy got 2.
But really, some people may have 1 ear.
What if we had 1 ear and 2 noses?
Just terrible.
Anyway,
Ew.
my last note is basically I'm appreciative of just props on the set. It's difficult. It's not easy just incorporating that and making sure like it does get to good use. And I think he did pretty good for just a few days setup on this, because like we've definitely all seen like some really dope sets with props done very well, and it doesn't overpower the dancing at all. Like it's just nice to see.
For sure.
Yeah.
Avi, what'd you think, man?
Overall, it was nice to watch another like Keone style video again. I think given the context of the types of videos that Keone and Mari usually put out, there's a good amount of substance behind it, and a lot of things to sort of unpack. And I never got to see Beyond Babel, but from what I've heard, it was like it had a lot of deep/dark themes to it, and a prison seems to be kind of
right up that alley.
Yeah.
So I think I need to maybe watch it a couple more times to see if there's a little more like to it that I can get out of it. I haven't really gotten all that yet, but then again, given they did it only like a couple days, like I'm not too pressed about that per se.
Sure.
I mean, overall, I'm just kind of curious as to how doing the group choreography went. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was more of a group effort, even though Keone would have been the choreographer and stuff like that.
I'm sure.
So, I mean, I've tried doing some like small capacity, like group choreo kind of like that before. So I just think it would have been a cool thing to have like a behind the scenes to like see how that process actually worked. And then also overall, like I thought there was a good balance between like, I guess, different aspects of Keone's choreography, like between the things that are a little more like on the face and stuff, and then a little more like full body things and stuff like that. And I thought the way that those were like interspersed throughout the video helped keep you engaged, or helped keep me engaged.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I am an air conditioner.
It's hard not to be a fan, but I feel like if they added a 4th song of more of him dancing or his style of dance, I definitely would have been out. Like
Gotcha.
I don't know if I could stay out that long with it. So that's it. The Ragtime by Keone Madrid featuring Mikey Ruiz and Sam Moore. That being said, like you wanted to talk about Keone's style of dance and like how it's kind of like moving on into the mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, I already have some questions/thoughts unless you want.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I've sort of seen how the way in which Keone has choreographed, or I guess the choreography that I've seen from Keone over the years, how it's evolved to really, in my opinion, utilizing more of your body for different aspects of music that you're moving to. The way in which he utilizes his fingers, the way in which he utilizes his hips, like it's really, it makes a lot of the choreography look a lot more raw and less clean. Like a lot of the like 2013 to 20, I mean, not saying that the choreography itself isn't clean, like people still look very together, but like the literal movement itself looks more gritty than like crystal clear and pristine. Like if you look at videos from Vibe or Bridge from like 2013, 2014, it's a lot of, or at least from what I remember, it's a lot more of like, even if it's like hard hitting movement or if it's R&B movement or movement to like, I don't know, trap or whatever, a lot of it's very clear. You know, the simplicity of the movements was a little more, well, the moves themselves, I think were a little more simple, where it's kind of like, not to say they weren't complicated, like difficult. And so I'm sort of curious, and I wonder what the inspiration was to get to that type of movement from 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
right,
to now. Like, I mean, I think a big one, especially watching their DNA video, I thought the type of movement in there was, for me, a mark of things becoming like much more different. And I guess also with some of the things that they did in, what was it called? The book series that they did, Prelude?
Oh, yeah, Preface.
Yeah, Preface. That's what it was. And obviously, you know, in every dance style, you have pioneers, right? You have people who are the main source of a creation of a new style, a new way of moving, across, you know, club styles, across choreography styles. But that's not to say that the people who were the pioneers came up with everything from their own head and their own design. There's still influences there that get people to act, to dance, or to think of things in a certain way. And so, you know, Keone seems to be in this position of being an innovator, of being a pioneer of something, or really just sort of like leading a trend into as to like where the overall like likening to urban choreography is going. And I'm wondering, like, who are his, like, what is he, what influence? Yeah, what influences is he pulling from, or what is he doing to get him to go that way? Like, for example, like Ian Eastwood, right? He is changed significantly over the past 5 years, and I've loved watching it. But it's been very clear to me to see, you know, he's been going and he's been training with a lot of like popping OGs to get more comfortable in popping as like a dance form, and he's been going more into freestyle culture, and I've clearly seen how that's influenced how he's pioneered his own way of like dancing and moving and being like his own self and leading whatever he's leading. But I don't see that same transparency with Keone per se. Maybe that's just because I'm not looking enough. I don't know, but that's just that took way too long to say.
I don't think he's not. I don't think he's doing the training that like Ian Eastwood is doing. Obviously,
yeah.
I feel like, and Eser, you can jump in at any point. I feel like Keone, his influences are obviously the people that came before him to a degree, as much as we can say that everyone before us influenced us, right? Or everyone that we watch to a degree. But then I feel like his style, I think he took a lot from, like, the abstractness came from, I feel like, modern dance. And like the way, I guess, Mari kind of influenced him a lot too.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Or like contemporary, not modern. Sorry.
Yeah, because let's put it that way, because like they have been together for a very long time, so they're definitely doing an exchange there. So each of their movements, Keone and Mari, I mean, like, they're definitely going to have rubbed off on each other in terms of like how they move. So definitely, like, where Keone's coming from, he has those previous influences even before he and Mari got together, and then now he's together with her. They're definitely going to benefit one another and like evolve into this newfound like person of a dancer. You know, like, this is just how they just have to run with it and take it and, you know, make it like work, as well as like unique and just stand out with one another. So, and at the same time, I'm thinking, this is just my opinion, like I wouldn't think that Keone would have that much time to go out and train on his own as well, because like he's expecting a child now. Him and Mari are having a kid soon,
right?
So he definitely has to put the focus on the home as well as still like keeping
the gigs to get money.
The gigs to keep the money to raise the family as well. So
yeah, I think they're just developing each other internally. I don't think they do any. Well, I'm sure they do train under other people, but like not like nomadic journeys or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to the point of kind of grittiness versus cleanliness kind of thing that you talked about, I kind of feel the opposite of what you think.
Really?
I think the way that he dances now, and which kind of influences everyone else, is too clean for me, versus how it was before all of this happened when dancers, and I say we, like because I kind of relate more towards that era. When dancers before kind of engaged more of the just general grooviness of body rocking. I mean, take house for like all the club styles.
Sure.
For instance, I feel like that for me, that's a little bit more raw and gritty than watching like say Keone or Cookies do a set right now, or even Kinj's. Using the extremities of or like different parts of the body that no one's really been used to moving for dance. I feel like comes with athleticism. They're definitely making dance a little bit more or way more athletic than it was before.
Absolutely, 100%.
For me, we talk about this every now and then, but I kind of have a spectrum of how
the spectrum
of how a dancer is, or how a choreographer choreographs, or how a team dances. On one end, I have art and artistry, and on the other end, I have athleticism. Like, which side do you kind of go towards more?
Yep. No, I agree.
And nowadays, I feel like people are going towards athleticism versus the art.
Yeah.
And kind of I mean, you can go too far to the left too and not understand anything.
Right.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's where I think that is at. So it's kind of we see the same thing.
Yeah.
But we kind of relate it differently.
Honestly, I don't know. I think the origin of my opinion might be a bit of me projecting my own experience onto like what I see around me.
And that's what you're gonna do.
So, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. And neither of us are wrong. Right? So like we both have our opinions. I found it really interesting when you started describing it, because when someone like you go to a club or you go to a session and when someone is just super raw and just real into it, like body heavy wise, then that for me like that is like rawness.
Yes.
Like you put that on the street and you would believe it, right?
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess and
choreography dancer,
and
like Keone comes in.
It's not to say that within choreography we didn't have movement like what we're seeing from Keone now earlier. I'm just saying, like on a broad spectrum of what I've seen, the feeling that I get from watching earlier Keone things compared to current Keone things.
True.
I get more of this feeling of just like grit and rawness from what I see output from him. Yeah. And I'm saying that I think from what I've seen generally across like urban choreo as a whole, from like certain teams that I've seen performing and stuff, I've sort of seen that progression happen too on a general scale, and also like within the people that I dance with too.
Yeah. I think it's a generational thing, because like when you say comparing it to before,
right?
My before is way before.
Yeah, way before your before.
True. And then and this is also just within the confines of like collegiate dance teams.
Yeah.
Which is like only a fraction
all right.
Like everything. So my scope is limited.
But collegiate dancing did start a lot of the big groups, you know.
I know
it really
totally
did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's college dance groups that really started like urban choreo scene as a whole.
Yeah. And the street dancers.
Yeah, a fusion of that.
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to talk about with that? With Keoneism?
Keoneism.
Oh man,
dude, people are gonna be studying that in like 20 years.
And now
what are you taking? I'm taking Keoneism. Oh, dude, that's crazy.
And now brought to you by the book of Keoneism.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like with that, like where do y'all see urban dance going as like, because with Keone sort of being like kind of somebody that we see as a pioneer and as an innovator within this world. And there are many of them. And there are many different levels of urban choreography. My main two distinctions for me seem to be like community and industry, which I've seen in many cases they've started to like blend a lot. Where do y'all see urban dance sort of in urban choreography like projecting into the future. Like, because I mean, if we look at the difference from like 2013 to like now, there's like so much that is different and so much that has happened. Like,
I mean,
if y'all had to cast your predictions,
and I don't want to talk about, I don't want to go into depth about this one particular topic. I mean, but look at like the Olympics 2024.
I know.
Breaking is going to be.
Oh,
part
that's
of the
right.
Olympics.
That's
breaking
right.
Breaking is now an official event.
Dancing is super mainstream right now.
Yeah. And of course with NBC World of Dance.
World of Dance.
Back.
All the TV shows that are
Dancing
coming
with the
out.
Stars. You know, even America's Got Talent. You know, you have a bunch of people.
Oh yeah,
on there.
that Mortal Kombat joint.
Yeah, there's a lot of urban dance in the mainstream now. So much that I feel that it's become a mainstream thing to do. Like back when we first started dance, there weren't a lot of dancers, as clearly as not as much as now. With your generation or even the generation that's up and coming, I feel like the whole idea of dance has changed in the sense where people are doing it now just because everyone else is doing it. You know what I mean?
It's just
the thing to do.
It's the FOMO mentality.
Yeah, it's the thing to do. For me, it was like collecting stuff or whatever, playing video games. Not to say that's not what it is now. I'm just saying that dance is also now one of those big things.
Right. It's like people would just want to have it under their so-called resume, like made-up resume, and just be like, oh, yeah, I used to do that.
Like the clique. Like what clique do you want to be part of? You want to be part of the Cool Dancers, or you want to be part of Band Geeks, or whatever? I was part of Band Geeks. That's just me. That being said, I think it's going to keep moving into the mainstream, especially with the breakthrough in the Olympics, pun intended.
I didn't, wait, can you say that again? I didn't get it the first time.
The breakthrough into the Olympics with the b-boy into the Olympics. For me, I keep saying this, I cannot wait for dance to not be cool anymore. Like I'm waiting.
He says that a lot.
I'm waiting for it to come full circle. Like I need it to die in order for it to rebuild itself into something bigger. You know what I mean?
Or to rebuild itself into something different. Because there are a handful of dance styles that have been born out of something becoming so popular that it gets washed out and people want to do something else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think so.
Very true.
Who knows?
So something like that. I need something to happen.
Yeah.
Right now it's just super mainstream.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think there is negative and positive sentiment to be had from that fact. Because
for sure.
because on the one, it's becoming like, obviously there are negatives of something becoming super popular that didn't start as something super popular. Because it was never the intention to become super popular.
Yeah.
It was just meant to be like people who wanted to do it because they wanted to do it, not because other people are doing it, obviously.
And then things change for about it. Yeah.
But I mean, I think overall, I think it's such like if more people take like dancing and doing it to a degree where they do it more than just doing like a two-step. Not that there's anything wrong with two-step. The two-step is awesome. I
love it.
The greatest.
If more people are doing that and are getting into it to like a somewhat deeper level, like I think that's good. Like I think more people dancing is a good thing. I think dancing teaches an individual a lot about how to like be comfortable with themselves or how to navigate. Like, I don't know. I think like dancing has helped me in a lot of ways. Like dancing has helped me in a lot of aspects in life that are not dance. And I think that one of the only, at least for me, one of the only ways to learn those was to dance. And I mean, I think we can all say that like, or at least I can say, you know, people who I'm friends with who also dance, I'm able to connect with or relate to or interact with a little differently than the people who like don't dance. And the more people who like do dance and have like this understanding of like being comfortable with their body and utilizing their body and like connecting with music and things like that. Like if that overall becomes like a cultural norm for people to do, that's awesome. Like I think that's a really good thing. And I think overall it'll lead to people like overall, like, you know, being happier and like, I don't know, like I like
that aspect of it.
Like
I do.
There are a lot of other like cultures within the world where dance is like very integral. And I think that's
absolutely.
like super admirable. And if like there was a way for like a modern like culture today, not that there aren't like cultures already like around the world today that still have like that like strong aspect of dance like in their culture and things that you learn as a child and things like that. If that's something that could be like a mainstream thing like in like American culture, like to an even more degree from what it is now, how cool.
See, the difference there is that I mean, people within that culture for dance or whatever, they know why they do it. They know what's ingrained in the culture. Whereas I feel like right now, when people are going into the mainstream, whatever, They're doing it for a different
true.
reason.
But you can always go into it. You can always go into it for one reason and then realize why you stay for another.
Oh yeah,
You know
For sure.
what I'm saying?
And that's
So-
I've done that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely thinking really idealistic and like big and potentially unrealistic, but why not think about it?
It's better to aim for the stars, man, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
that's all you can do.
I always love the phrase when somebody says shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. It's like, no.
No,
the stars are worse. They're high.
Yeah.
they're big.
and they're flying.
And they're so far away. If you
I'll never
shoot
get
for
back.
If you shoot for the moon, you're not going to like what?
You have a goal at least.
The moon is so much closer than the stars.
And
Shoot
much
for the
less dangerous.
Shoot for the stars. Worst case, you'll land on the moon, right? Like, come on.
But which moon?
That's no moon.
That's no moon.
And we found a way to bring it to Star Wars.
Yes,
All
we
right.
did.
All right, let's
Success.
get into the real conversation now.
Cool.
All right. That being said, unless there's anything else, I'm sure you could talk for hours, Avi. but,
It's a
Yeah.
problem of mine.
it's a good problem to have, especially for podcasts.
I
'cause
know,
feel like we can talk-
exactly.
we'll just have to bring you back, I think.
Oh, that would be
for
amazing.
a part 2,
Yeah.
3, and 4.
But that's a good place to end it. Avi, man, I want to thank you for coming by and talking with us. This
Oh,
was
my
a lot
goodness.
of fun.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you for having
so
me.
much, man.
Of course, of course.
Where can people find you, dude?
People can find me at this table on this video. But
Good.
if you want
Yeah.
to go onto the internets, you can find me on Instagram at Obvious72. That is AVIOUS72.
I get it.
That's my main thing. I don't really do Twitter or Snapchat.
Sounds good.
Facebook is just
Yeah.
my name.
That's the way it's
So-
going nowadays, I think.
I know.
I love Instagram. Like Instagram, I think I like your ability to just like well, first off, I like picture books, and Instagram is basically just a big picture.
Well, there
book.
you go.
There you
So-
go. Can't say any more
I
than that.
know.
Esther,
But-
where can people find you, man?
You guys can find me on Instagram as well. Val Circa, VALSERCA, and on Facebook.
Nice, do it. And as always, I'm Russ Santos, aka Lock and Robin. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lock and Robin. You can find me on Reddit and all that other good stuff too. If you want to talk to me there, do it. I dare you.
Do it.
Do it.
We have much more to say.
If you liked everything that you heard and you saw, especially if you're listening on the podcast, keep listening to us. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all that other good stuff for podcasts. If you want to watch us more, obviously we're on YouTube because we're here and you're watching us now. Check out our other site, or our main site, dancefamtv. And follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff at dancefamtv. #the session. We will see you next time, guys. Peace out.
Peace.